Hey now, the holiday season is upon us and it is time for some appropriately flavored kombucha. So today I'm going to make a holiday kombucha. I already have my primary fermentation done on my tea. You can check out the video on how I like to do that on the channel. And it's time to prepare my secondary fermentation with fruit and spices and all that. So let's check it out. So I have my 2 liter or 2 quart swing top jars here that I like to do my secondary fermentations in. I just use my Star San spray bottle here and sanitize the inside. I like to use that in my home brewing. It works super great for my kombucha as well. I have some frozen cranberries that I'm going to be starting off with here. And this first step is really simple because I'm just adding in somewhere around in between a half cup to 2/3 of a cup or so of these cranberries, and then I need to let them thaw. So really, taking a look at this jar, I'm just kind of doing a single layer across the bottom, and that way it's not going to displace too much of the volume. So now I'm going to let these sit a few hours, just so that when I do add my kombucha, I'm not shocking it with some really cold berries. All right, now that my cranberries are nice and thawed, it's ready to prepare the rest of the ingredients for the secondary fermentation. Now, as I'm going for this sort of festive character here, I definitely want some citrus. I've got this orange here. This is gonna be enough for both of these containers. Now, with any sort of citrus you're getting from the store, it's important to give it a good scrub. I just used a scrubby like this and some hot water in case there's any sort of waxy coating on that. I'm just going to quarter it, and 2 of these quarters will be going into each of my vessels. And for this, I am just going to give them a little squeeze like that to get a little extra juice in there and drop them in. Spraying all over the kitchen, of course. And number 2. Just like that. And then I've got my other little spices. So in each of these, we're going to have half of a cinnamon stick. I've got the equivalent of half of a star anise, and then 3 cloves. That will be lots of nice festive character there. So we'll get both of those done. So I have my kombucha here, and this was made with 4 green tea bags, 1 black tea bag, 200 grams of sugar, and 4-ish liters of water. You can check out my video on how I actually like to make that on the channel. And now I'm just going to be adding it to my festive, fun little secondary fermentation jar. So I'm just in the middle of starting to fill up these containers here. I've got my kombucha here. This original tea was made with 4 green tea bags, 1 black tea bag, 200 grams of sugar, and about 4 liters of filtered water. You can check out the video on the channel if you want to see how I like to make that. And I'm just adding them to my nice little holiday mix of secondary fermentation fruit and spices. One thing I like to do once I get about halfway full is just take this vessel, give it a nice spin to pick up any of the nice yeast and bacteria that has settled out on the bottom here, kick it up into solution because that's what we're going to want to ferment the sugars and whatnot in here. Plus that's where we get all of our nice probiotic bacteria. You can see that this is now considerably hazier. I just couldn't kick that up when this was full here, otherwise it would have been sloshing out of the vessel. So let's fill it up. Here we are in a cabinet in the fridge. It's a great temperature in here to continue fermentation. So I'm going to leave this in here for 2 or 3 days, and just twice a day I'm just going to burp it like that, and that's going to allow gas to escape so it doesn't actually try to carbonate in here. You can see I've got some nice little sauerkraut sitting there as well. So I gave this 3 days here, and as you can see there's been some really nice color change. A bunch of color's been absorbed out of those cranberries. I'm sure this is all really nicely flavored. So at this point I'm actually going to go ahead and invert it. You can see we've got all of this yummy bacteria here in the bottom of this jar. And I'm just going to kind of swirl it up and kick it all up because I want it to remain in solution here for the carbonation process. All right, so I'm ready to bottle. So I have all of my equipment. I have my swing top bottles here. These are half-liter bottles. I've got my funnel, my sieve, and a 2-cup measure here. They've all been sanitized. My handy little Star San spray bottle here. So it is go time. I really like this sieve just for catching the fruit and stuff from the secondary fermenter. I'm just going to dump that into a little bowl that I've got here. And it's just a matter of filling up the bottles. So there are the first 4 bottles. It's time to just repeat that process with my second 2-liter swing top jar. You just want to make sure that you leave some headspace in here for that natural carbonation to take place so pressure can build up as that sugar continues to ferment out. Once I got these bottled up here, I just gave them a really quick rinse off here for any little splash over that might have occurred, and we're back into the fermentation cabinet just to let them naturally carbonate for a few days. After 3 days of letting this naturally carbonate, it is time to try it out. As you can see, I've got my festive Grinch apron on here, and I'm in the mood. Let's give this a whirl. So I'm just going to shake this up here from the bottom just to make sure that any of the bacteria and yeast and stuff that has hit the bottom is kicked up into solution, and I will correct myself and admit that this is my wife's Grinch apron because she is the Grinch fanatic in the house. Ooh. That pretty little light pink color. All right, time for a little sniff and a taste test here. Ooh, that really is capturing the holidays there. In addition to the classic kombucha sourness, we have the tartness from the cranberries, that nice acidity from the orange, the citrus, the zest and everything that was in there. We have that cinnamon, the clove, the star anise, all present in there. Not overpowering, very complimentary. Like I said, this is the holidays in a glass. And hey, it's kombucha, so it's good for you all at the same time. So give it a whirl, and until next time, keep it at 11.